Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Hope you guys all good today. Now I thought I would come on here for a little while to talk about Bukayo Saka. He's just signed a new Arsenal deal. We did hear about this a few days ago, so it hasn't come at a surprise, but I'm gonna give you my thoughts, obviously share a bit about the new contract, and give you guys a bit more information about it. But yeah, like I said, I'm gonna come on here to talk about that today. That's gonna be my focus. And big up to everyone that will be watching my video today. If you do enjoy my content, do make sure you guys are liking, subscribing. I just want to read out the comments that are in here so far. Big up to Storm Steel, who says, the absolute worst thing the club could have done. He's been injury prone and terrible this season. Michael Elise is right there. I do think that the timing of this is not the best timing, to be honest with you. I mean, we've literally drawn to Wolves yesterday, which does feel like a lot, and we've woken up to hear this. So, yeah, I don't think it's the best timing. I think Saka has struggled this season. I think, like a lot of our attackers, we just haven't been great at all. Do you think Saka is an amazing player? I think obviously he got a goal against Wolves, and we want him to be a bit more present in the game for a lot more. He went quiet after that, after the goal he scored. So I think Saka has got a big part to play in these remaining games left of the season. Obviously, we're still in the Champions League and we've still got other focuses. That League Cup final is going to be a big focus as well. So yeah, he hasn't had the best season, but it is nice to know he wants to be a big part of our future and he wants to stay here for, I think it's till 2030. So that is obviously a little while. And we have seen a lot of other players extend till 2030 as well. So I think this is all really exciting to see that these players do think that we're probably going to win stuff when it gets 2030. I mean, my 2030, I do hope we have won a bit more than what we have right now. It does feel like a tough time at the moment, but I do really hope we'll have won a bit more by that time. So yeah, the timing probably isn't the best time if we are being honest. But yeah, obviously I'm gonna share my screen. To those that will be watching, big up to you guys. I'm going to just speak a bit about this now. So yeah, let me just get into this and share my screen and talk a bit about what he said in the interview. But it does feel like a bit of a tough time for this because, we've just feels like a lost to Wolves really. So hopefully you guys can see this. So on the Arsenal website, as you can see here, Saka signs a new long-term contract. So let's see here. So Saka signed a new long-term contract with us. I just want to find some information about that. So yeah, I'm just gonna try and have a look on a bit of a different website because there's not too much information here. So yeah, I do want to have a little look while I'm chatting with you guys. So I'll read this one here. There's obviously a lot on different websites. So yeah, Saka has committed his future till 2030. Saka's previous deal was due to expire in 2027. So I think it's good that it's pretty much a big part of our future now because 27 isn't that far away from us. So I think it was good. So yeah, 2030 is signed. Obviously, it says here, no more players played more minutes under attack than Saka. I don't know if that's always a good thing because I think Saka does need a bit more rest than what he's been getting. But as it says here, he is staying until 2030. Saka did also say in his interview that I'm feeling amazing. I think it's a fantastic moment for my family and me. Let me just come back here. So yeah, he said it's a important moment for my family and me. I feel immense joy to continue my journey at this club. For me, it was an easy commitment, and I just hope everything. I just hope to win everything here. And the journey that I've been on from where I started to where I am now is a special one. And then he says, I believe next years are going to be the years that we get over the line. We're able to win trophies and make history for this club. We're back where I belong, fighting for everything. I mean, we know how much he loves Arsenal. So, again, I don't think that was a big surprise hearing that in a sense, because I do think that he is Arsenal through and through. He loves this club. I just want to scroll down and see if there's any more. Yeah, that's more about Chelsea. So yeah, obviously he is the latest player to commit his future to this club. As we know, we've seen other players commit their future. I think we saw Aneri at one point, Lewis Skelly. I think we've seen Gabriel as well. So we are seeing these players really commit their future to the club. So I think that's obviously really, really nice to see that. I think the timing probably hasn't come at the best time, but I do think in all, I do think it will be good for him to really stay here and be part of the future for a few years, hopefully. So 2030 is obviously, a good amount of time. Obviously, as fans, I hope by then we will have won quite a few things this season. I hope we'll win, obviously, the league, and obviously the League Cup. Obviously, we're still in the FA Cup. The Champions League is so hard to say at this moment if we can win these things, but yeah, Saka does seem very, very happy about that. I just want to see if there's any more bit about the deal, about maybe what Arteta said. Um, but yeah, guys, let me know what you made of this news. Obviously, it has been announced today. We did hear this news a few days ago, but it's been properly announced today. But yeah, I think it's not a surprise really because his contract was leaving, coming to an end, sorry. In 2027, which isn't far away. So obviously he did speak a bit about the contract. He said, I just want everything to help bring the glory days back to the club. I hope the fans see that. Hopefully one day we're able to celebrate that achievement together. I want to be able to look back and see as a kid that started at the age of 7, 8 years old on trial for Arsenal, that went on the whole way to win every trophy that is available to win. That's the legacy that I want to create, and when I reflect at the end of my career, that's what I want to see. That would make me happy. Obviously, Saliba, Gabriel Magalhaes, Waneri, Skelly all signing long-term deals in the summer. So it's actually quite promising that we are seeing quite a few of these players extend their contracts and are staying for a big chunk of their career. Obviously, by then, I do really hope we'll have won something, because it is a big time, isn't it? A big chunk of time. But yeah, I think he is going to get paid a lot each week. I did hear something as well saying that it was 300k a week. So so the agreement of Saka is more important than 250 million. Yeah, I'm just trying to see if there's any more information, but that's pretty much it regarding Saka. But I think we know Saka hasn't had the best season, so I do want to see him perform a bit better. But I do think a lot of these players have not performed the best this season, so I don't think it's just Saka, but he's just another example of why we need to do a bit better. Big up to yourself. Good to see you in here. Arteta hate university. I think we just put ourselves deeper in hell, because now if we want to go out there and get an actual bully, is going to demand more than 300k. Yeah, I mean, I do think Saka's not really had the best season. I do think on the right hand side, I think Madueke is doing better, but I think we don't really have someone that's ruthless on the right hand side at the moment. And like you said, if we are going to bring players in, whether it's the left hand side, right hand side, we are really showing that if we're going to pay Saka this much, then they're going to want to be paid just as much. I mean, I was always quite big for Rodrigo to come to Arsenal. Never thought it would actually happen. But he would be wanting a big amount of money like Saka as well. So that's the other thing, is the wages. It's like, I don't think Saka should be paid that much a week. I don't think footballers in general, unless they're really performing. Like, I mean, Saka, we know Saka is a baller. We know Saka. I mean, you know what, with Saka, there was many conversations that we were having and about Saka being world class, and I felt like he was nearly there. And it's almost like he really hasn't improved, has he? I think another thing I do want to say is, like, I do think Arteta has overplayed him, not just this season. Last season, I think in general he has been overplayed. I do feel like that's had a big part to play in him having more injuries. So that's definitely been hard on him, but I do think we need to see him perform better. I think if you are going to play Saka, do play him on the right hand side, not in midfield. I think you can play him in midfield as a one-off or every so often, but I don't think that that's something we should be doing all the time. I think Eze is probably the best person at the moment to put in his second midfield position with Havertz. I know Odegaard as well. He's injured at the moment, so yeah, I think with Saka, I think it's definitely positive that he's staying, but I do think he needs to perform a bit better. I think he's not been performing as good as he could have been. Big up to yourself again. We've done 2 stupid things this season. We've tried to give this manager an extension, knowing he hasn't won nothing, and we're giving it a certain amount of number, which is going to block us to bring the actual players that we need in the team, and they're going to give us the issues to the point where other clubs are going to snatch them up very quickly. We still have a lot to compete in the squad, the left-hand side, in the middle, and the right-hand side, and even the midfield. Needs reinforcements. Yeah, you made some great points there. Pick up. Yeah, I think this season, like, it's difficult, isn't it? Because like, if we win the league by a very fine margin, well, we will take that. We will, but I don't think we've played the best football this season. I think we've been very poor this season. I think there's only a handful of games I can probably tell you guys where I felt we've played good. Villa is definitely a good example of that. I mean, when we played Bayern, Tottenham, like, there's not many I can really say we've played great. I do think that the left-hand side's always been a bit of an issue for me, and I spoke about that, and people think I was crazy, but with the left-hand side, it's like, I know Trossard usually is a lot better. Trossard came on yesterday and didn't do much. Martinelli played for such a big chunk of the game and he didn't do much either. So the left-hand side for me has always been a bit of a weakness. I do feel like we have to really sort that out in this summer. We're going to have to move one of them on. I did see rumours about Martinelli maybe being moved on. I do like Trossard, but I do think we need someone who's going to be a starter and is really going to take us to another level on the left. On the right, I do think we could do with someone, because I think with Madueke, I think he is great, but I think the problem that we have at the moment in this team is that we need level raisers. We need players that are going to take us to another level, and I just don't think we have that at the moment. And obviously the midfield. I think with the midfield, I think we need to be playing Norgard a lot more than what we are doing. I don't know why we're not giving Norgard the time that he deserves. He was amazing against Wigan. He's been amazing every time he's played. I don't really know why Arteta's not giving him the chance. So I think in midfield, I think for me at the moment, I do think we have to be rotating. I think Mendy needs a rest, or Declan Rice. You've got to give one of them a rest at least. I think we are struggling in that aspect. So yeah, I think we definitely need to have a big summer. The midfield, I think you just got to change it up. I think for the games we've obviously got Tottenham at the weekend, which isn't going to be easy. So I do think we've got to really rotate as much as we can. Norgard, Eze, give them a chance. They've not really had a lot of minutes this season. But yeah, you make some great points there. I do think that the squad needs reinforcements. It's so difficult because Arteta has spent so much money, but we've spent so much money on the defence, and now we really need to fix that. The attack's had a bit of help, but not too much. Arteta's really focused on bringing in defenders, midfielders, where we should have focused a bit more on the attack, to be honest. Good to see you, Wookie Cookie. I hope you're good. Not Saka related, but if we are just going to win the Carabao Cup or do it really for this season, I'll be very open for changing manager. Yeah, I mean, I think with the League Cup, I think we've got a great chance to win that. I think we probably will win it. I'm not going to say it's going to be easy, but I'm with you. I think if we just won the League Cup, that would be very underwhelming. Or if we just won the FA Cup, I would be very underwhelmed by that. I think if we won the League Cup and the FA Cup together, I'd probably be okay with that, or the League or the Champions League. I'd take that. But yeah, I think if we end the season second in the league, exit in the semi-finals, I think if we got to a final of Champions League, that would be quite good. But I don't know if we're going to do that. With the league, it's so tough at the moment to know how we're going to do. So yeah, I do think if we end the season with that League Cup, yes, I'd be happy with a trophy. But I do agree with you. I do think that I'd probably have these discussions with you guys, because I do think if we're not going to win the league now with Arteta, I don't think we're ever going to do it, personally. So I do have my worries, but I'm not going to overreact. I'm going to see how the season goes. But yeah, I do agree with you. I do think it would be very underwhelming if we just won that. I do think that would be really a disappointing season. I don't really know. It's hard with the Champions League. It's a bit early to talk about really how we're going to do, because you need a bit of luck in that. We've got the FA Cup. we're in the fifth round of that, but at this stage it's just so difficult really to know. But yeah, I'm with you on that. I would definitely be having those discussions about Arteta. And I don't have any issue with Saka staying at the club because I know once this manager leaves, next one is going to get everything out of our players, the amount the amount is the issue. Yeah, I do actually think that Arteta should be getting a bit more out of these players, to be honest with you. Like, I do think the players do. I think everyone has to be responsible right now of everything that's going on at the club. Like, I do think Arteta has to take responsibility. I do think that so do these players. But you look at the attack this season, and it has been underwhelming. It hasn't been the best it could be. I think, I'm not just going to talk about one or two players because I think everyone has struggled, but I do feel for Gyökeres at times because, again, it goes back to the midfield. He's not really had the service that he probably needs. Like, in certain games, you can see he's really trying, but no one's really creating anything for him, so he's struggling. And then, obviously, Trossard and Martinelli, I just think they're very inconsistent. It's like flip a coin in that game. You just don't know who you'd want to start in that one. And on the right, Saka's form has dipped a bit, and obviously, Madueke has scored more, which has helped us, but then his end product could be a bit better at times. So it's been difficult. I do think our attack needs to be much better, and do want to see Arteta getting a bit more out of that, to be fair. So yeah, I do think our attack has been a really big issue this season, I'm not going to lie. Big up to Marcus Maddy. Big up So. I don't know why I'm not happy with Saka's extension. I mean, he's been out of form. What if next season he's not at the level required for us to challenge? Yeah, that is a good point. I think the timing of it is quite important. It has to be the right time, doesn't it? I don't think this is the right time, especially since his levels haven't stepped up. I think if Saka was to go on like a good run, then I could probably say to you, I'd understand. Like, I'm not against him signing this deal, but I just don't think it's the right time. Yeah, I'm not convinced it's the right time. I think if we win the league and it sort of works out and Saka helps us, I think I'd be much more open to that. But I think we're at the stage now where he hasn't really done too much, has he? I think you can understand with players like Gabriel Magalhaes why they've signed a new deal, because Gabriel Magalhaes has honestly been such a warrior at the back for us for so many years. He's been same with Saliba. I know Lewis Skelly signed a new deal, and Lewis Skelly, I do want to see him again. Goes back to midfield. Why isn't he getting more chances in midfield? I think with Arteta, I personally think that we're at a stage of the season now where it is make or break for him. I do really believe that. I think if he doesn't get it right this time, then I do think I'll have conversations about his future. But I think Arteta's got to change things up. These players were tired, and I don't blame them for being tired, but it's all Arteta for not playing Norgard, not playing Eze, maybe not playing other players that you could give a chance to, like Ben. I know Ben White is sort of being run through the ground, and Ben White is injured at the moment. I know he's been on the bench, but Ben White clearly isn't ready. So I do feel like, yeah, it's a tough one with the contract. Like, I'm not against it, but I just don't think the timing feels great, especially after that Wolves result. Announcing Saka's extension after a disastrous result. Yeah, it does feel like PR, doesn't it? I do get that. I mean, I know we've known about Saka's deal for maybe 5 days. Like, I think we already knew before the Wolves game that he was going to extend. But I think we're just at the stage now where these players need to be performing better. And I know for Arteta, I think his contract does end in maybe 2027. I'm not too sure. And I think for Arteta, he's got to earn that. And he said that himself. Arteta's actually said that himself, that he's got to earn that contract, because you can't just give a manager a contract for finishing second. If Arteta wins, I think for me, if Arteta wins like a League Cup, the Champions League, I'd be okay with him staying a bit longer. If we end the season with nothing, then for me that's not good enough. If we end the season with a league or a Champions League, I'd be like, you know what, Arteta's taken us time to win a trophy, but we've got there in the end. I would give Arteta a bit more time. So I do think we've given Arteta an extension when he's not really won anything. I think for me, you have to earn it. You can't just get it maybe because you've been good in the past or whatever that is. So yeah, I do think it's a bit baffling, the timing at the moment. I think I do think with the timing, I do think like Saka deserves to be part of our future, definitely. But a good point about next season, he does have to be even better than he was this season. So yeah, it's I think this summer is going to be quite big for us. It depends what we do in how the season ends. To be honest with you, because I do still think we have a bit of a mentality problem. I do feel like I do think we are struggling with that. So yeah, I think we've got a big season really. This is going to be such a tough time this season. We're playing Man City soon as well. Um, we play Man City in the final, which is going to be tough, but I do really hope that we do that. So yeah, I'll have to see obviously what happens. Big up to Arteta Hate University, hit the likes. Thank you so much. And obviously good to see you in the chat. Big up to the chat. Do make sure you guys are obviously liking and subscribing, and feel free to send any questions. It doesn't have to be about Saka, it can just be about Arsenal, but I just wanted to give you guys my thoughts on this. Arsenal fans says thoughts on the new deal. Yeah, I mean, I think the timing, like I said, isn't particularly great waking up. We're still pretty annoyed about that. It feels like a loss. I think he does deserve to be a part of our future. But I think we know he's not had the best season, so I do think we need to see a bit more of improvement from Saka. He did score against Wolves, and that was great. I just want him to have a bit more involvement in these games. But I will say his performance have been a bit better. The last two games have been better. I think it's. I don't think it's a coincidence that like most of our attacking players have not been great this season, and we've not played the best football this season either. We haven't. We've played quite ugly this season, I would say. So I don't think that's a coincidence. I just think Arteta needs to solve this. Um, if all the attackers is underwhelming, then you have to look at how the manager sets up his tactics. I can't lie, it's so boring watching the team. Like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for support. And yeah, I don't think it's a coincidence. I think it is underwhelming, like you said. I think if it was one or two players that weren't great, I could understand. But it's like, I think with Gyökeres, it is his first season, and I would love to see Gyökeres with if Odegaard was when Odegaard was at his best a few years ago, how would he be in then? So I do feel like it is a bit of a different scenario, but I do feel like if we had maybe a better attacker midfielder, Gyökeres would thrive. So other than Gyökeres, I think Saka hasn't scored as much. I think Madueke has scored a bit more lately. I do like bits about Madueke, but we need a level raiser, to be honest with you. On the left, I just don't know who you'd start at the moment. Trossard came on yesterday, was very poor. Again, Martinelli was poor. Trossard's probably a better finisher. I do have more confidence in Trossard, really. But yeah, like you said, it's not a coincidence. I think it's underwhelming, and I think questions need to be asked because, like I said, it's not just one player yesterday that was poor. I think the one player yesterday that I think did really good was Hincapié. I thought Hincapié obviously got us a goal, but he was really good. I think a lot of these players are just run down and tired. I think that's what it's down to. It's up to Arteta to step in now. Arteta's got to get this right. If I was Arteta now, I know we've got a game against Spurs, but I would really change things up, whether that's playing Norgard with Declan Rice and Eze, or playing the Skelly Norgards, whatever you want to do. I think you have to change it up. These players are knackered, and these players are so close to we are quite close to losing this title. It's quite shocking, really. I don't think Man City will drop points, but I don't like to focus on that side of it. I just worry about these patterns that are happening. We're not really learning from our mistakes, because when we played Wolves this season and when we played Wolves yesterday, it was the same theme, wasn't it? We've not really changed too much. So I do think we should be concerned, but I think we should not lose it yet, because we still can win the league. But I think it's going to be a fine margins. I think it's going to be a really close one to call, to be fair. Rico says, like James from the Universe said, being an attacker should be exciting, but it feels like this club and manager is sucking the absolute life out of it. Yeah, I think that is a great point. I didn't really hear about that, but I think it isn't exciting. I think we're all not enjoying the football we're playing. When you even against Wolves yesterday, when I was watching it, I was just really hoping we'd see it out, and you shouldn't be feel like that against Wolves. Like the Wolves have got 10 points this season, but I feel like we should be confident playing Wolves where we can sit back and relax, and it was quite tough watching that. So yeah, I don't think we've played great every this season at all. It's not enjoyable to watch. I wish it was. I wish we could enjoy what we're seeing, but I don't think any of us are at the moment, which is a real shame. So yeah, it does feel like he is sucking the life out of it, and I think Arteta needs to get a bit more out of these players, if I am being honest with you. If you were a new owner pulling up to Arsenal and you see the manager's been there for 6 years, and then versus the players that's been there, which one would you remove? That's a good question. Um, I think if I was a new owner right now, I'd say if Arteta doesn't win the league or anything big this season, then I would move him on personally. I mean, I did think last season we should have moved Arteta on, to be honest with you, because I think Arteta's had a lot of time here, if I'm being honest with you. 6 years, we've won one FA Cup. I know we've had quite a few title races, and I appreciate where he's taken us, but I do think we should be open conversations that I've said this many times, maybe Arteta has taken us as far as he can take us. I think there's no shame admitting that, but I don't see Arteta getting sacked personally. I think when I was speaking to James from the Universe, he said it's great that you could see Arteta walking. I think that's a possibility as well. I would love Arteta to end his time here by winning league title, Champions League, whatever that is. I don't expect Arteta to be here forever. You know, he's going to want to go and do other things in his career, but I do think that when he first came in, I remember when he started to bring in his own players, I really visioned us winning Champions Leagues in a few years, and we just never. It's been difficult. I do think there's players I would move on. I think I would probably move on Martinelli. I do like Trossard, probably keep Trossard. Odegaard just isn't. I think with Odegaard, he's had so many injuries. I think I would potentially move him on. I think we have to be ruthless this summer, to be honest with you. I think defensively, I think we're good. In goal, David Rice had moments, but he is good. I think it's the attacking midfield position is no one's really claiming that. I know Havertz came in and did good. He got injured, but I just feel like we've got so many positions where you want players that are sort of world class. You want players that are great. So I just think, yeah, it just feels like a tough time really at the moment for Arsenal. Be up to Ashik. Good to see you in here. Hope you're good. Obviously, big up to chat. Drop in any questions you have for me while I'm chatting away if you want. Second way more than too late to get a letter out of these players. I think you should just leave it. It's better. He knows that him and the fans also know copying. It is so tough, really. Yeah, and that's what I was so surprised at, because I was actually thinking to myself in the midfield for the Wolves game, I actually wasn't surprised Arteta went with Saka, because I thought he probably might have done that, but I would have probably done Norgard, Eze, Zubimendi or Rice, and maybe Declan Rice, Zubimendi. They both played a lot of football, but I would have obviously gone with Norgard and Eze, and played Saka on the right, left Trossard, Gyökeres up top. So I think you've got to give Gyökeres, you've got to give Norgard this time he deserves. Like, Norgard isn't just this young footballer that hasn't got any experience. Norgard is very experienced. Like, he's got a lot of talent, and we've seen that he hasn't put a foot wrong. So I don't know why Arteta hasn't been starting him. I don't know why he only played him, in our game in the cup, and then didn't play him again. I don't really know why. I think that's quite baffling, to be honest with you, because I think Norgard's proven himself, and he's not come here to be on the bench. He's come here to show what he can do. So yeah, it has been a bit underwhelming, to be honest with you, that he hasn't been getting the minutes that he deserves. To be honest with you, it's just disappointing to say. But yeah, with him, I hope we'll get to see him a bit more. But yeah, if you guys have got any questions, do drop them in. I'll probably only about 50 more minutes. But yeah, I have to say, but yeah, I do feel deflated, guys, and I don't wish, I wish I'd feel different, to be honest with you, but I just feel drained. I'm sure you guys feel drained. I've never seen Arsenal win a league title, and I think what I'm frustrated at this season is I want us to play like a more exciting style of football and win a league, and I feel like is that too much to ask right now? Like, it shouldn't be. But I think I can personally accept us playing ugly or playing not great if we win the league. But if we don't win a league, this will feel like it was all for nothing. So yeah, I do have my concerns. Like I just feel a bit tired of saying the same stuff and nothing changing really. Um, Norgard plays in domestic cup games or when it's dead rubber games. Yeah, I mean I do think that is probably the case. Norgard is very he's not like, let's just say he's not really complained about his lack of minutes, which I do admire about him. But I do feel like he deserves a bit more than that. I think Norgard should come in when players are tired. We can clearly see these players are exhausted. They've played so much football this season, so I can really see that these players need some minutes to have a bit of a break. I mean, I think there's two players for me that need a rest extra, and that is Timber and Zubimendi. And the other players you want to rest, but I've noticed more with them recently that they need a break. And the problem is Arteta's not rotating as much as he should be. So these players are burnt out, and rightly so. They're going to be burnt out. It's a long season. They've played a lot of football, but so I do think Arteta for not rotating, if I'm being honest. But I do think the players need to step up. So yeah, it's going to be a long, a long. How many games are there? 11 games left. Somewhere 11 games left. It feels like a long time. Arteta needs to grow some balls once and play Lewis Skelly in the right position so we can have more creativity for once. But it's too late to bend him in. I think it's too late to I don't know why that he is not being played in midfield. Like, you know what? If I was Arteta right now, I'd think to myself, do you know what? I'd rather play a different player than other players getting burnt out. So I feel like for me, I don't think Arteta likes to try new things. I think he likes to try what he knows. I think he has to be adventurous. You know, I'm some person that likes to see managers take risks, and if it doesn't work out, you know, it doesn't work out. But at least we can say with Arteta, you know what? Like the other day, he tried Saka in midfield. He's given that a go, and I appreciate that. But you know, it's not something you should do all the time. Sit here and say, yeah, the players seem shut, but come on, let's be real, none of them have the key to win the league. It's Arteta, he's been given much time. He has, can't argue with that, he has been given plenty of time. Why do you think some players have been erratic? Yeah, it's a tough one, isn't it? I do notice that it's difficult. I just think we're panicking, to be honest with you. Like, I looked at the goal, I watched it back today as well, and it's like, we're panicking defensively. You know, Calafiori, I'm not going to go on him, but he could do better there. He panics again. I personally think we're panicking and we're not being calm in those moments where you need to get the ball out, you need to, you know, save it, whatever you need to do. And I just feel like, to me, I think we're panicking. And the players know they can't repeat this again from last season. But I think if I'm being honest, I have felt for a long time we would win the league, but I think that game has maybe made me think that we're probably gonna maybe lose it again like we did last season, which would be, as fans, I would be a bit embarrassed by that personally. Sorry, I think I missed out one of your questions here. Berta brought in the summer and all needed time to blend in, but this man, he doesn't have the tactics to do that because he wants everything to go his way. Yeah, I think Arteta's definitely deserving this criticism right now. It's just not good enough. So I just want to go back to questions that I've missed. Let me just go back up. Why is he coming out for you, Claire? Just like, yeah, I think like I said, we are being erratic. I don't think we're thinking about what we're doing. I think we're being a bit I think we're overthinking things, and I think we're panicking. I think that's what we're doing. Don't think we have much communication at the back in those moments in where we should do. I think we are panicking, which is a big problem for us. There's so many shit you can say about these players not doing this and not doing that, but you can most definitely say a manager can be blamed. 24 human beings on the team. There's usually just one manager, which means you get the last word, which means the players are following his instructions. I think that's the problem. I think Declan Rice said this in an interview once. Arteta is control of everything in this club, and I think that's the problem. I think Arteta is having too much control. You know what I do? I know under Wenger we weren't really winning leagues. We win FA Cups, all of that. But I do think that under Wenger, the players had so much freedom, and we had this sort of football we played. I think under Arteta, we do play very controlled football, and I just wish we had a player that would just maybe ignore Arteta's instructions and do something different to help us. I do think Arteta's a bit too controlled in too much of a way. Like, I do think the players need a bit more freedom, because obviously Arteta's telling them to play a certain way, and that isn't winning us games at the moment. So I do think also, I don't want to go on about this too much, but I do think the captaincy, I think that needs to be sorted out, to be honest with you. I think Declan Rice needs to be our captain. I think this season is evident, and it's really showing to me. Like, I do appreciate what Odegaard's done for us when he was great, but he's not gonna. I don't think Odegaard's gonna be back to that player he was. I think he's struggling too much with injuries. So many of these players are struggling with injuries, and it's really, really showing. So we have to really get through this. There are so many questions to ask the manager before we start asking the players any questions, especially with someone who has billions to spend in. Yeah, I think it will always come back to the manager. I think it has to come back to the manager, to be honest with you. I think he has to answer a lot of these questions that's going on right now, especially like you said, because of tactics, formation, all of that. I do agree with about Ethan, because I actually, now I'm really thinking more it was a bit of a mistake to move Ethan on loan. I think Ethan would have really helped us at the moment, because no one is really claiming that spot right now in, the position we're in. So in second midfield position, Eze's not really showing up in the league. Odegaard's injured, Havertz is out. So I do feel like we need to really we should have kept him, to be honest with you. I think we need to play with Skelly midfield, Saka on the right. We need to change it up. That's honestly my thoughts, really. Yes, so if you do realise that the past 2 games, man just brought on a player that caused us to concede a goal, which shows he doesn't know what he's doing. He's the one who's, yeah. You know what, I think we've honestly got ourselves to blame with how things are going at the moment. Like, we really do. Because the thing is that against Wolves, we score a goal 5 minutes in, 1-0. I'm thinking, okay, that's a good start, but we don't build on that 1-0 lead. We just leave it, and then we scored in the second half, and then we literally messed up a 2-0 lead. So I just think that we've got a big issue at the moment. So I really do hope, guys, we can learn from this. Obviously, we've got Tottenham coming up, which is going to be interesting. I think maybe the team might have reserved a bit of energy for that game, but I just hope we can get a win in that game. But yeah, obviously, thank you to everyone that has tuned in today. I'm going to end this in a few minutes' time. But big up to the chat as well. I have done a preview of a Spurs fan, which will be out on my channel tomorrow. So do check that out. But we've got a big game this weekend against Tottenham, which I'm not really looking forward to now. And that game is going to be massive for us. It's going to be that game will feel like make or break, really, for our season. Like, we've got a really busy month in March as well, so it's going to be really tough for us. So I just really hope that we can get through this tough period and find a way to bounce back. But yeah, that is pretty much my thoughts on Saka the season. Thank you to anyone that has tuned in. I really, really appreciate it. Like I said, I'll be back very soon. Obviously, do appreciate your support on my content that you show me. But yeah, make sure you guys do like, subscribe, and please take care, and thank you for all your comments today. And I will see you guys in my next video.